Did you know that 88% of buyers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations? Online reviews, testimonials, before and afters, endorsements, they're all considered social proof. Social proof is critical for creative business owners because it builds credibility and it positions you as an expert in your field. It helps reduce the risk for clients considering purchasing from you, and it boosts your sales. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Let's go.
Welcome to the Higher Purpose Marketing Strategy Podcast. If you're frustrated by marketing and want to stand out from your competition, this is the show for you. Every week, we're discussing how to build a plan that attracts your best customers and aligns with your values. I'm your host, Ashley Conway, follower of Jesus, CEO of Be Weird Marketing, marketing coach, and copywriter. I promise to defeat the ick, yuck, and struggle bus feelings you may have about marketing with a few good stories and proven advice. So let's have fun and get to work.
Okay, so on today's show, we're going to be talking about proven tips for collecting powerful testimonials. So think about this. Adding just one testimonial to a sales page can boost sales up to 34%. Why is that? Because it's hard to trust what you say unless you have proof to back it up. It's just true because there are so many experts out there that do exactly what you do, and no one knows how to tell who is great and who is average unless they have that social proof of other people saying, yeah, I use this person. I had a great experience. Let me tell you all about it. That is what reviews and testimonials do for you. So here's an example. Last week, our air conditioner went out. Like, it was working, but it was blowing out warm air. So my husband tells me, this is like super late at night. He's like, get online, go find an HVAC company. So what do you think the first thing I did was? I went to Google and I Googled HVAC company near me and started looking at the reviews. And that's how I chose who we should call. So that goes to show it matters. It matters, your reviews, your testimonials, what other people are saying about you, and not just that they're telling you, but that you spread that word around. So today, I'm going to be sharing research-backed ways to get those powerful testimonials. So first, let's start with timing strategies. When do you ask for these? Surveys show you get a 70% higher response when you ask clients right after a win. So what are the high points in your business, in your customer experience? I'm going to give you some ideas to kind of get your wheels turning. Number one, let's say you're a photographer and you have a planning meeting with a client and you are imagining their session, kind of pulling out of them what they want and giving them teasers of what you could do. So they're going to walk away from that meeting really excited. That is a great time to reach out to them and say, just ask for a one sentence feedback. How did the planning session go for you? Just tell us how your experience was. Or what if you're a landscape designer? Do you present some kind of a rendering to your clients of what their space is going to look like? That's a great time because they're excited about what you're going to do. If you're a graphic designer, do you meet with a client to present the brand board, their new colors, their new fonts, whatever it might be? That is a great time. If you're a stylist, think about fashion. Do you create a mood board for your client? Colors or silhouettes that might be good for them. What about an event planner? Do you present a plan to your clients for how the event is going to go? If they're having a theme, what the venue is going to look like, the layout of everything. Again, these are high points. These are high points for your customer that they get really excited. Or if you have a course, think about what modules are the most exciting for your participants. So what are the ones that they have the most engagement? They are getting excited. They're believing that, this change is going to happen. Those are the points within the course that you want to reach out, touch base with them, and get feedback. And obviously, the very best time to ask for testimonials is right after your service is complete, because they have the best memory. They're the most excited. So you're going to get, obviously, number one, that is the best time that you're going to get great testimonials. But I wanted you to know and to be able to brainstorm, because there are other opportunities. It doesn't have to just be at the end. There are other high points in working with you that you can get great feedback about those specific points in your process of working with someone. So here's your pro tip on this one. Automate these in your CRM system. If you have any kind of system that manages your workflows, your processes, then you need to make your life easier and automate these, so these can go out at whatever times of the process that you select. They go out automatically without you or anyone on your team having to remember to reach out. So here's step 2. Use a script. We're going to talk about what to actually ask for when you're asking for a testimonial or a review. So here are a few tips. Here's 4 good tips for you. Keep your ask to 50 words or less. So something like, hey, Jill, if you're thrilled with your results, do you mind sharing 1 sentence about them? So that's one that's obviously after your service is over. It's very quick. It's very quick for them to read, and it's very quick for them to respond to, because you're saying, can you just give me 1 sentence? They know that it's not going to require a lot of time or a lot of thought to respond to you. Also, short single question requests are going to get better response rates compared to like a multi-question form. A single question, you can expect anywhere from 60 to 80% response rate compared to 20 to 30 if you have a full form, multiple questions. Another tip is to make that question that you ask them, that single question, really count. We know if we only get 1 question, then it needs to give us exactly what we're looking for. You could do something like, what's 1 word you would use to describe working with us? You're probably going to get the highest response rate on something like that, because you're only asking for 1 word. The downside to that is you're only going to get 1 word, which is not as easy to, you can't use a 1-word testimonial in as many different ways. But you could also use something like, what surprised you the most in working with us? That kind of question is going to get more unique responses. Just put some thought into what is your 1 question, basically. If you're only going to use 1, so you get the highest response rates possible, what is your 1 question? Also, written testimonial requests are going to get better response rates than video. For a written request, you can expect about 30 to 50% of people you send it to give you a response back. Video is going to get under 10%. This is like industry standard, basically. Unless there are ways to improve that. You could incentivize them with a free gift card or something. You could give them 1 question to answer on the video. That helps. I mean, think about this. If someone says, can you give me a video testimonial about your experience working with me? That's a heavy lift, because really you're asking someone to look decent on camera, to at least believe that they're going to communicate well and speak well, to kind of pre-plan all the things they're going to say, to film it, to take that from their phone, to send it to you in a certain way. What if the file's too big? Is there an easier way to get it to them? So there's a lot of lift that you're asking them to do. You can make that easier by taking out some of those steps, like, here's the 1 question I want you to answer. Here's an example of what someone else said. Here's a way that you can take your video, upload it really easy. Like, here's a Google Drive folder that you can upload it to if it's too big, kind of thing. So you can take some of that lift off of them and make it easier. And this is also probably going to be something that you would want to ask your very best clients to do. The ones who had the best experience with you, that just fell in love with you, they're going to be willing to go the extra mile. And that's not to say also that just because written gets a better response rate doesn't mean that it really is best. It depends on your customers, the relationship what you have with them, and you will know whether they are going to be good on video, going to be the type of client that you want to have on video, and whether they'll be willing to do it. You'll know when it's the right time to ask for a written versus a video, regardless of response rates. And here's an extra pro tip for you. Add in your request why it's important to you, why it's important that they give you some kind of a testimonial. That will make them more likely to do it than if you just say, hey, can you share a one sentence about your experience kind of thing. Explaining to somebody why something will be helpful to you they're a lot more likely to do that. Okay, and another thing that you can think about here is literally crafting scripts. You should not have to write a personal email every time to clients asking them to leave you a review, a testimonial. Think about if you want a written testimonial for somebody, what that's going to look like. If it's a one sentence, a 2 sentence, however you want to set it up. And then you're going to think about what a video request is going to look like and what information is in there. You should always have the opportunity before you send something to personalize it a little bit. But overall, you don't want to have to be drafting something new every single time. The next aspect of this is promotion, where to use these testimonials. Once you have them, what do you do with them? First is, and probably most important, is your website. Studies show that testimonials, if you put them above the fold, which is kind of our marketing speak for the area of your website that can be seen without scrolling down. If you will put a testimonial in that section above the fold, it can double the impact on people visiting your site. It makes them way more likely to keep engaging with you. One thing you can do in your header area is you can have like a carousel header that one of the options that you scroll through can be a testimonial, whether it's video, text, whatever you, or your designer, your web designer, whatever the plan is with that layout, you can have one of those things be a testimonial. And that it proves your credibility and it keeps people engaged. Another, absolutely, if you put it anywhere, key place is on your sales page for your services. A one sentence quote located right beside the buy button, whatever the button is for you, the call to action button, is going to dramatically increase the people who actually click that button to engage with you. So keep that in mind. Another place to use these is in your email. We know kind of as just kind of the standard is to include testimonials in a sales email, right? You're launching a new service, you're promoting that you have openings, whatever it is, we know that to include a testimonial there. That's kind of a no-brainer. But you should include them in other emails too. Consider regular emails that you're sending to your email list, include them in a PS line, or include them as part of a client spotlight section where you're talking about their project a little bit. And then you're sharing this was their feedback from it. And then the other place to share these is on social. This should be a regular part of your social content plan. Depending on how often you post, that can change the frequency, but at least 3 or 4 times a month. Because keep in mind, hardly anyone sees every single thing you post. That algorithm filters a lot of people out. So you have to keep posting things regularly that are important. And then let's talk about how do you boost your rates, your response rates, just some general tips. How do we get more people to send you these testimonials? Because we know your clients are very busy. They have a lot going on. And especially sometimes after their service with you, their time with you is complete, then they're busy in the middle of that thing. If you have designed their home, they're busy, unpacking, getting into that home. If you are a designer, then they are busy working on that website and promoting people and launching it and getting people to it. They're usually busy engaging with the service that you have provided. As a photographer, then they're ordering their prints, they're hanging those up, they're sending them to people. So we know that they're busy, a little extra on top of what their norm would be. We do want to try to engage them quickly to get their responses on these testimonials before it gets too far out and they start to lose that after purchase glow, right? Where you're so excited about it. We want to get them before that fades. Number one thing you can do is some sort of incentive. Like I mentioned before, the gift card. It would be a low dollar amount that you would give to someone for giving you a testimonial. Now you can select how you do these. Maybe written testimonials, they don't get one. Maybe video testimonials, you give them a small gift card because it does require more of them. But it doesn't just have to be a gift card. Think about they could get a free resource like a checklist or a guide for giving you the testimonial. Another thing to think about, if you do any live videos on social, if you do any webinars and you have live people coming to your lives watching these, you can ask them, viewers, to drop something in the comments, one thing they learned, one thing they loved. You can use these as micro testimonials. They're probably not going to be super lengthy, but you can take those right out of the comments and you can place them in, you can turn around and make a social post out of that. You can put them on your site, in your email. There's tons of things you can do with them, but that is a super easy way. If you're already putting out live content, you have people watching live, to get them to, number one, engage, which helps the live video, the live content do better, and to get you some testimonials. And the third thing I would pay a lot of attention to is your Google reviews. Ask people, this isn't a way that you can kind of kill two birds with one stone. Ask them to post their review to Google. And now you have to know there is a bit of a risk there. What if they had a negative experience and they post that on Google? But you're going to know that more than likely before you even request something from them. You're going to know who, if there's a bad experience with a client, I would just send them an email to further, to follow up on that, to say, like, how can we do better in the future? I wouldn't ask them for a testimonial if it wasn't a great client fit and it just didn't go well. We all have those where it's not a good fit. So don't ask those people for reviews and testimonials. So there is a bit of a risk when you ask somebody to post on Google, but most of the time you kind of know what they will put. So you are getting double the results for that because it's improving your Google profile. And let's be real, that's where most people, just like me with the HVAC company, are going to see what kind of service you provide. Did other people have this great experience? So you get it there where it really counts, and Google is a third party. So they're having to they know it's done independently of you, that these are real reviews. So that's great. And then you can copy those reviews and use them in any of your content that we talked about earlier. So you kind of get a double whammy. That is something to consider, especially if you are a local business, like a photographer, like an event planner, all of these things. Ask people to post on your Google profile, and that will be a help to you in more than one way. And just as a tip, if you do have someone who ever expresses, maybe it's a positive review, but they say, but I wish this would have went differently, respond to that on Google. Show at least that you are, number one, you're paying attention to the reviews people leave, and you are willing to work with them, respond with them. Like, you're not just leaving them out there, that you care even after the sale about the experience they had. So if this is something that you need to iron out for your business, a testimonials plan, all these things we talked about, how you're going to get them, the script that you're going to ask, how that you're going to use them, all of these things, that's something that we can easily work through together. I offer an introductory call just for first timers that I've never met with before, that we can talk about your marketing in your business. You can schedule this introductory call at bit.ly/beweirdcall, and the link will be in the show notes. I look forward to talking to you next week.
Thanks for listening to today's show. For all things podcast, including transcripts, extra resources, and a place to submit questions for the show, visit higherpurposemarketingstrategy.com. I'd also love for you to do me two quick favors. 1, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and 2, share this episode with your colleagues. And that's a wrap. Meet you back here next week.